At T-Mobile, our critical mission is providing unparalleled 5G coverage for when connectivity is mission critical. Introducing T-Priority, America's best 5G network experience for first responders, even in times of congestion. More capacity, faster speeds, better coverage. T-Priority from T-Mobile, built for tomorrow's emergencies, ready today. Discover more at t-priority.com.
For qualifying organizations on eligible rate plans, coverage not available in some areas and may be impacted by emergencies.
Today on CityCast Denver, is Denver feeling the burn? Senator Bernard Sanders of Vermont and New York Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez are throwing a rally in Civic Center Park this afternoon. But is their brand of progressivism what Denverites really want out of their Democrats right now? We're breaking down the local Democratic Party divide and all the other big stories of the week, from the new women's soccer stadium to the state representative who wants to take money away from the disability community. Today is Friday, March 21st. I'm Paul Caroli, and here's what Denver's talking about. Welcome to CityCast Denver, the show that will not be asking you to fill out yet another bracket for March Madness this year. You're welcome.
Who is this? Who are we taking shots at, Paul?
This is like literally my whole internet right now is asking me to fill out a bracket. And I love it. I will do it for everything.
I had beef with the green chili bracket where it ended up with the Denver Post, the top four. But
What's the top four? I saw it was like, I think it was Brewery Bar.
That was the one I had a problem with.
Yes.
Oh, really?
I'm sorry. I hate their food.
Me too. I didn't finish my plate.
That.
What?
Same. I left. I was like,
Me too.
This is something I don't understand. And I know Denver and I don't understand this.
I was shocked because everyone was like, put it on your list, put it on your list. And I went and I did not finish my food. I
Wow.
left. It was gross.
This is one of those places.
I call it church basement food. It was not good.
It was soggy.
Mm-hmm.
The chili was like
Gross,
questionable, watery.
gross. Yeah.
It was like not blended well. It was just
It feels like one of those things people put on their list because they have to.
maybe, yeah. It felt like you like.
It's a loaded conversation.
We're
The
about
whole
to
green
get
chili
ejected
thing.
from Denver for both saying that.
Sorry, everyone. It was like somebody's auntie that's a bad cook, and you're trying to be polite, and you're kind of like, I like put all my napkins on and snuck out the back door.
I'm so glad you had the exact same experience as me. I was like,
This is how I felt about the pizza bracket. I was like, ugh, I can't even.
Nobody
Can't
knows. Nobody knows.
But yeah, there have been a lot. I saw one from the CSU extension that was a vegetable bracket.
Oh,
So I
that's
was like-
cute.
I enjoyed that too. I was voting for winter squash over muskmelon or something. It's like, okay.
CSU extension.
March Madness, great. Everyone's doing it.
Low key, the best website to come out of Colorado.
It's a fantastic service.
It's so helpful.
They're the best. Anyway, it's Friday.
It's Friday.
March 21st.
The second day of spring.
It's whatever day you want it to be.
And we are not at the beautiful 5280 Magazine studios today.
We're at our new place.
We're at a new place. The Dude IDK studios. Also Denver. Hey, we're working on a secret mission. Maybe you'll see it soon.
Maybe you won't.
That's all I'm going to say about it. Maybe you will, maybe you won't. But we got a lot of big stories to talk about today. We got the big Bernie AOC rally tonight.
Yeah.
Friday night. We'll do a little preview. We're going to talk about the new women's soccer stadium and, of course, our wins and fails. But let me talk about who I'm talking to today. Our host, Bree, is back. Hey, Bree.
Hey.
How was your trip?
It was cool. I went to the Museum of Graffiti. Have you ever been there in Miami?
Yes.
Isn't it cool?
I've been there.
My brother, who is may or may not be a graffiti artist, said it was legitimate. So I trust. It was good. Highlighted my trip. That, and I went to a mall, at Ventura Mall, and they had a fully functioning department store there. Like, it had a houseware section. It had a bedding section.
Wow.
My sister and I just wandered around there and marveled for like 15 minutes. It was great. So yes, Paul, I had a great time.
I'm glad to hear it.
Thank you.
And we have a great guest today. She's our politics and green chili correspondent. Welcome back, Justine Sandoval.
Thanks for having me.
Hey. Are you an NCAA? Are you a basketball person at all? Are you going to be paying attention? I know there's games at Ball Arena this weekend.
College.
Yeah. College basketball. Yeah.
I mean, I've only participated in the college basketball thing when I worked in an office where they did the brackets and they were all about it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Same.
Our
Someone
office.
asked me the other day, they were like, what's the bracket thing? Why are people filling out brackets? I'm like, oh,
It's because we went to the city college, girl. That's why.
Yeah, we didn't have a basketball team.
We didn't have a basketball.
Oh wait, Metro.
Do we have a basketball?
Metro has
Does
a
Metro
basketball
have any
team.
sports? What
Yes,
is it?
Metro has sports.
I followed it because my best friend was a college athlete, so she's really into it. But I didn't do the bracket until I worked in an office. Same thing.
Yeah, we CityCast does it every year. Last year, our CEO David Plotz won the men's bracket, and it was so sad the way because someone had to announce it at the end, right? And they were just like, and who the winner? CEO.
The winner's our boss.
No comments, no emoji reactions. Everyone's just like, ugh.
Give your money
Wish this
back.
hadn't happened.
I know, here. Thanks,
go.
boss.
All right, a couple of items of business before we get to our top story. One is one of our favorite regular guests, Joshua Emerson, is starring in a new short film called Finding the Funny. And thanks to the MCA, it premieres March 25th at the Holiday Theater on a big screen. I'll be there moderating a discussion with Joshua and the filmmaker, Gabe Furman, who I talked to yesterday. He's a very cool guy. But then the special thing I learned from Gabe is that Joshua has not seen the film and will not
I heard him
until
say that.
Tuesday.
That is fun.
Yeah.
I was surprised.
So you'll get his first reaction
to his own film.
to his own film after the premiere. Yeah, and I'm
Beautiful
looking
theater
forward to that.
too. Have you been there for a show?
I haven't.
It's great.
I can't wait to see
It's
it.
really nice.
Tickets are cheap.
Yeah, it's a North Side staple.
There you go.
Beautiful.
Joshua Emerson is just on the rise, and I
I
love
know.
it.
I'm
I'm
so
worried.
proud
So
of
many
him.
amazing things.
I'm worried he's going to leave us and go
He
move
will.
to
He's going
Hollywood.
to, he is going to go to Hollywood, but he won't forget us.
I mean, he should as soon as they notice, but
we
I'm
were at the
worried.
beginning. We were there.
yeah.
We get to say we were there.
So link in the show notes for that event. Tickets are cheap. They're $7. And then the second thing is I want to clarify something we talked about earlier in the week, something I talked to Councilwoman Sarah Parody about. She said that, BRT is coming to Federal, the bus rapid transit. We've been talking about this on the
Yes.
show a lot. And she said that there had been some meetings postponed and that she was talking like maybe there had been a delay in the project because of the federal funding pause, the whole Doge situation.
Oh,
But she said, she said meetings were postponed and it seemed like a setback. After that episode, I heard from Colorado Department of Transportation, CDOT, and they insist there is no delay.
okay.
The postponed meetings just means that they are not expecting to hear about funding when they thought they would be, but it's not a delay.
Interesting.
They're still working on the plans.
I have to say, so I drive down Alameda every day, and it's one of the BRT plans, but not for a long time. And I don't know why they didn't just start with Alameda. It's already torn up. I mean, like, if you ever drive down Alameda, it's just potholes on both sides. Half
Yes.
the businesses are empty. They should have that should have been their starting point, and then maybe it wouldn't have been such a PR disaster.
Maybe. I hate driving on Alameda. That's not like, I'm not a person that gets bothered by roads. I'm mostly oblivious to my surroundings when I'm driving. Sorry.
It's my main thoroughfare, Paul, and I hate it too.
I don't like the side lanes where it's so slanted.
Oh yeah,
I
it's
feel
like you
I'm
feel like you're leaning into the
Yeah.
sidewalk.
It's
I never
terrible.
want to be on that.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
So
As soon as you cross I-25, you hit there.
it's like it's the land that time. It's the road that time forgot.
yeah, brace yourself.
Oof.
So I'm with you, Bree. They could move that one up.
Yeah.
I don't know where they get the money now, though. Everything's up
We'll
in the
see
air.
if it ever happens.
All right, let's get to our top story. Top story of the day is really a phrase, fighting oligarchy. Bernie Sanders and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez are bringing their fighting oligarchy tour to Denver today, Friday, late afternoon. I think doors open at 4 and then the show starts at 5. Makes it feel like a concert or something,
I
or
was
a
like,
rock
I
show.
feel a little bit like it is because the last Bernie rally I went to felt like that.
I want to
Devotchka
hear
was
about
there.
that.
It was great.
Yeah?
It was just, I don't know. I'm one of those people that gets really energized by the energy of other people in a crowd. You know, like if it's a really exciting, I have moments in my life where I've been inspired by something is usually at a concert or this Bernie rally was definitely one of those moments where I was like, oh, we can do this. This rules kind of thing. So I'm excited just to maybe feel something again.
Okay.
What a time. 2025.
So we're going to talk about like all the ways that Denverites are fighting oligarchy this week. I thought it was a big theme of the week. But the rally, are you going to be there, Justine?
I will not be there tomorrow. I'm sorry. I will not be there this evening. But I'm definitely excited that this is happening because if there's anything we need right now is some energizement amongst people. It was a big week for rallies. I've been to like 4 rallies this
It
week.
really was. I
So-
felt like there was one every day almost.
What was your favorite one?
Rank them.
Yeah,
Okay.
we could do a March Madness bracket of
Let's see.
rallies.
Earlier this week.
Earlier this week, the Union folk were at the Capitol with a brass line band playing outside the governor's
Brothers of
office.
Brass.
Mhm.
So
It was
cool.
fun to see all the labor folks out there encouraging our governor to sign the labor bill.
Mm-hmm.
So that was probably my favorite one.
If you bring music, if you bring a live band to your rally, that takes it up a notch for me. I
And
love
Brothers of
that.
Brass is the perfect band for it.
The fact that Devotchka was at the last Bernie rally is interesting. Who do you think would be at this one? Are they going to bring out?
I think Devotchka's in Europe right now, so
Okay,
it probably
so
isn't
not
them.
them, sadly.
But
I want to know who are they going to bring? Who are the local stars
Yeah.
that Bernie's bringing out?
Oh, that's a really good question. My guess was Julie Gonzalez.
Mhm.
That was my
Senadora,
guess. Yeah, the Senadora.
friend of the show, past
Oh,
guest.
definitely would be there.
She felt like somebody who would be there. She's been
You
a
said
real leader.
Representative Emily Sirota introduced Bernie last time.
Yes, which I mean, she's obviously Democratic, but also her husband is David Sirota, and he was the speechwriter for Bernie. So,
Mhm.
not saying that's how she got there. Just
I mean,
it made sense to me.
they're probably pals. They know
Yeah.
each other.
Sure, I'm sure. So, I'll be curious to see. But my guess is Julie for sure.
Maybe the mayor. Does that feel like a good fit, Mayor Johnston?
I don't know. I feel like he's been at the forefront of the immigration conversation, obviously, but I don't know about this component of progressive conversation, the oligarchy stuff. I don't know. I just haven't seen. I don't know. I don't know if I connect him to this directly as much, but
It
he
doesn't
might be
feel like his wing of the party.
kinda. That's how I kind of see it too. But we could be
If they
surprised.
invited him, I bet he would do it.
Totally.
Hmm.
So we'll see.
Well, there is this bigger context right now. I mean, AOC and Bernie are like one piece of it. They have their, they're going on tour. That's how they're fighting oligarchy. But Democrats are divided nationally, locally. There's protests over immigration. Justine, you're in these rooms. What are these conversations like with Democrats locally right now?
Well, it's a lot of Democrats locally are looking to take cues from our Democrats in Congress right now, but they are also trying to figure out what their messaging is. And I think that the risk that's happening right now, because there isn't a clear message, clear idea of how we are defending ourselves against the dismantling of government right now, that people are confused. So people are looking for leaders right now. And I think there are two sides of the Democratic Party that are like, we need to stand up and fight and throw some chairs. And the other side that's like, we got to let the Trump and all of these actions play themselves out and create their own controversy so people turn against. But I think that that's the wrong strategy, because we need people in the streets right now to be fighting against what's going on, because there are long-term consequences to dismantling our government. A lot of people are going to suffer. There's going to be a lot of services that people go without, and we're going to have to look forward to how we put that back together. But we need people in the streets. And if we're not being the rallying call that we need to get people out there fighting and get people excited to go to the ballot box by midterms, then we're going to fail. So I think this rally is a good start, because these are the people who are going to be marching in the streets, who are going to show up to this rally to kind of energize them and get them going again, so we can actually have some type of rallying that needs to go on right now.
Do you think it's the same people though? Because I'm just thinking I remember a few weeks ago, I went to a big rally after the first ICE raids, and it was a lot of young people, a lot of people of color, really, really fired up, angry about these raids. And I don't know. I don't know if that's the Bernie people, the Bernie AOC people. I don't know if maybe it's broader or different, or I don't know.
Well, I think the Bernie AOC thing is really good, because they're two people that connect to the working class. And the fact that they're having a Greeley rally and a Denver rally, I think is kind of bridging that gap between the urban and the rural worker. And a working class citizen, and trying to say that we have a lot more in common when it comes to labor, when it comes to the economy. And Bernie, I don't think he's a registered Democrat at the moment. He's independent.
He's been independent, yeah.
And so, I mean, we have to really look hard at where we lost the American people, or the working class citizens who are not confident in the Democrats when it comes to the economy. So I think that it's good that a lot of groups that aren't exactly affiliated with the Democrats are doing this to get more people out, to get a bigger tent. But the Democrats have to work really hard right now and to convincing those people that they need to vote for us. The midterms.
I think the approach for the Democrats, the divide in this approach was very clear at Trump's address earlier this month when we had some Democrats like wearing pink and holding up signs. And then we had Representative Jasmine Crockett walking out, and we had Congressman Al Green disrupting. Like those, I saw two different sides of the Democratic Party visually there.
Al Green, you mentioned. I can't get this fact out of my head that Representative DeGette, Denver's representative, Crow, and Neguse all voted to censure Green for this.
I was disappointed in that, especially. I think I also have this lens of the disability movement and community, and he is part of that. He's a disabled person, and his showing of that was very big for my friends in the disability community. Just saying, like, look at who's standing up right now. And but I agree. I thought that was surprising from those particular legislators. Personally,
it's a choice.
But
they're all trying to find their path.
That's the thing, is I think they're trying to figure out what approach to take and which one is going to resonate with the most people. And I think we're going to see that. I'm interested in this rally to see who comes out, just from the people that I know personally, like what types of political folks are coming out. And so far, I can see quite a wide spread across the Democratic Party.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I mean, we'll be there. I don't know. I'm sure we'll post some stuff on Instagram or something at CityCast Denver. Denver Post also has a great vote tracker for all the local congressional delegates, like on how they're voting on Trump stuff. I've been following this. I think it's a great resource.
Oh, that's helpful. Yeah.
We'll put that in the show notes. There's one other topic on this broad theme I want to talk about, because I think we have to talk about the detention of the famous local immigration activist, Jeanette Visquera, earlier this week in the parking lot of a Target where she worked. She is a person who got famous because she sought sanctuary in local churches, 2017, 2019, has been kind of in limbo, but ICE picked her up. And it seems like it was a punitive arrest, just like Mahmoud Khalil, the Columbia University student who spoke out on Gaza. And I mean, this has been dividing Democrats as well. It's been interesting to see how locals have responded. Our mayor called this a Putin-style arrest. What are you all seeing in the political discourse around this locally?
Well, from my point of view, I had been thinking about Jeanette a lot lately because I've worked with her in this movement, and a lot of activists are very close with her and have spent a lot of time fighting alongside of her. So I had been worried about her. So when I got the call on Saturday that she was picked up, or on this week that she was picked up, I was devastated, but not surprised. So I think that that's the reaction from a lot of leaders so far.
Do you feel like folks in the movement was she anticipating she could be a target?
I don't know. She has been she was at a rally on Sunday, and then I had heard an interview with her like the week before on CPR talking about a lot of what's going on. And I had crossed my mind if people were worried in the climate that she would be picked up. So I think this is, in the eyes of people in the movement, this is like 100% a political arrest. And it's designed to silence activists and community leaders. And I think that's a lot of sentiment amongst community leaders right now, in my space, in the immigration activist space too, is that this is meant to scare people.
Yeah, a high profile case for sure.
My sense of this is like from Democrats locally, that the response, I'm just like watching to see what the Democratic policy proposal is on immigration, because I think that's something that hurt them last year in the presidential election, was like, there really didn't feel like I knew what Trump wanted to do. I definitely knew what Trump wanted to do. He talked about it all the time. It was his main thing, deport millions of people. But the Democrats, they all say oh yeah, the border is a problem, but what do you want to do? And now all I'm hearing is stop. There's a lot of stop Trump, resist Trump, but it's okay, but what?
I think that's part of the problem. There isn't been a clear statement from the Democrats on what they want to do. I'm thinking about the only time it really came up in races recently locally, I feel like was the Gabe Evans Yadira Caraveo race. Is the only time I heard anybody really talk about immigration.
And Caraveo tacked to the right, tacked to the center.
Yeah.
The way
It was
Polis is
very
doing.
surprising.
Perhaps in a play for some future swing state voters.
Yeah.
In a presidential run. Perhaps.
It's been interesting just based on like Bennett and Hickenlooper came out in support of Jeanette. The letter from DeGette and Crow, Nagoose and Pedersen in support of Jeanette as well. So it's muddy. It's not clear.
Well,
yeah.
To me.
We'll be watching.
And Democrats are, there's a lot of outrage that, Trump and ICE are going against their own priorities of deporting criminals, violent criminals, and now they're targeting people like Jeanette. And so, they're like, see, they're not sticking to their own policy, but they never were. You're right. The goal was just to deport people. There was, you get more people on board maybe if you say, we're just deporting criminals, but that was never the plan.
Yeah.
So I don't know why we're so shocked now that they're just rounding people up.
I mean, they would say about Jeanette that she had a criminal record because she had a fake ID, I guess, or like a
Social Security card, I think, in 2009.
Yeah, and there was a traffic stop, but like, okay.
It's just such a minor.
Right.
She served time and everything for it,
It's just such a minor. I mean, you could ask anybody on the street and maybe I had a suspended license at one point. I was driving without a license. So I'm just saying like that is so minimal compared to like, if we're talking about quote criminals that we're trying to deport. I don't think somebody that used a fake ID one time in 2009 is a criminal in my eyes to me.
Well, we'll be watching all that. And at the rally, we'll have a report next week, I'm sure, about what we saw, what we heard from folks. And if you see us there, say hi. Say hi. We'd love to say hi. We're going to go to a quick break and come back and talk about a very interesting new development coming to Southwest Denver.
This episode is brought to you by Denver Health. Not sure if you need urgent care or the emergency room? Denver Health has you covered. For non-life-threatening issues like minor injuries, abdominal pain, and even stitches and x-rays, Denver Health's urgent care is your go-to choice. Just walk right in. No appointment needed. With 4 convenient options, including adult care, pediatric care, virtual visits, and a downtown location at 16th in California, Denver Health makes it easy to get the care you need when you need it. But remember, if you're facing a serious life-threatening condition, head to the emergency room right away. Like seriously, like right now. Like if you're listening to this podcast and you need emergency medical help, you have my permission to hit pause and call an ambulance. Urgent care is here for those unexpected issues that need quick attention but aren't emergencies. Plus, Denver Health accepts most insurance plans. Please turn off this podcast right now, call 911, and then go to the emergency room. When you're sick, think Denver Health Urgent Care. Most major insurances accepted.
This episode is sponsored by Babbel. Are you holding back on foreign travel plans this year because you're afraid of the language gap? I'm not, because I have Babbel. I'm David Plotz, the CEO of CityCast, and I'm learning Spanish on Babbel, getting ready for a trip to Mexico City. Babbel is the language learning app that gets you talking. Babbel's quick 10-minute lessons, handcrafted by over 200 language experts, get you to begin speaking your new language in 3 weeks or at whatever pace you choose. Babbel's tips and tools are inspired by the real-life stuff you actually need when communicating. With a focus on conversation, you'll be ready to talk wherever you go. Babbel has given me great lessons on getting directions, ordering in a restaurant, and making plans. And of all the things I'm doing in Mexico City, I'm probably most excited about the soccer game we're going to. So I was excited to learn how to cheer from Babbel. That'll be me you'll hear yelling, "Fuerza Tigres! Fuerza Tigres!" With over 16 million subscriptions sold, Babbel's 14 award-winning language courses are backed by a 20-day money-back guarantee. Let's get more of you talking in a new language. Babbel is gifting our listeners 60% off subscriptions at babbel.com/citycast. Get up to 60% off at babbel.com/citycast. Spelled BABBEL.com/citycast. Babbel.com/citycast. Rules and restrictions may apply.
All right, we're back. Our hot topic this week. Big news for Southwest Denver and local sports fans. And maybe I don't know.
Future local sports fans of
Yeah.
women's soccer.
There's the still to be named women's professional soccer team that is set to start playing next year. Will have its very own home, slated to open in 2028. The owners announced on Tuesday plans to build a 14,500 seat stadium and entertainment complex near the interchange of Broadway and I-25. We'll talk about the site, which is an interesting part of this. But yeah, did you two see the renderings? That's where I want to start. They had some like pretty glitzy looking pictures of what this thing's going to look like.
I love
Justine?
it. It looked so cool.
That's what I thought. I thought it looked great. I thought it looked really
Looked
cool.
like a rendering of a stadium to me. I don't know. They're
Justine, let's you and me talk about this. This
Okay.
thing looked awesome.
It's cool.
This
They
is
just all look the same to me when those renderings. I don't know.
Thank
yeah,
you.
I
Look,
mean, it
they
didn't
have
like
a-
stand out, but to me, it was just really cool because it's like this prime urban location. You have this city in the background. And to me, it's huge for them to be building that type of stadium for this new team. It's like an investment in women's sports.
Love
and
it.
I think it creates, like, it's a prime urban environment. So it really creates a lot of buy-in from people, like, for this team and excitement.
It's an empty area that people have wanted something in for a long time. It's literally in the middle of the city, in the middle of these. It's been sort of like a wasteland between neighborhoods for a long time.
Let's talk about the area. Let's start there, actually.
What are
'cause
they
this
calling
is
it?
Santa Fe Yards.
Santa Fe
That's what the
Yards.
announcement said.
Yeah,
and
sure.
you
I was
were
like,
like,
what's
what?
that?
Sure.
Well, I looked it up. It was like, apparently that's the name that the developer called it. Like this little spot, apparently it was going to be something. Like that's not an official neighborhood name or anything.
Okay, I thought I just didn't know. I'm like, how have I never heard of?
Yeah.
I went
yeah.
through the same thing, Justine. I was
Do
like,
I
are
not
we calling
know,
it
or
this
is
now?
this developer?
But it's like a weird liminal space along the highways. It's like, what neighborhood is this? What are we calling this? I don't know.
The
what,
old Gates Rubber Factory.
tell
really.
us about
Yeah.
it. Talk to us about the Gates Rubber Factory.
I
Brie.
mean, it was there forever. I feel like it was decommissioned when we were kids.
1996.
Yeah,
Yep.
'cause
Okay. So yeah.
we had like, well, I knew graffiti artists.
I
who
was
were
just going to
in
say
there,
the same thing. I was like, I
and
knew
then
it
it
was
got
a hot
really
spot
dangerous
for
because like
graffiti.
people were
Falling
falling
through.
floors.
Mhm.
And
Oh,
breaking.
God.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Well, because it was like a giant abandoned site in the middle of the city.
Uh-huh.
And 1996, like Denver wasn't all flush with cash the way it is now. They didn't immediately tear it down. So it's like ripe for
Yeah, it was
our
a graffiti
friends in the
spot.
world of graffiti. And my brother definitely was up inside there, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, and it's funny because the old timers would always talk about it and like, oh yeah, we used to work at Gates, and he used to work at Gates back in the day.
I had never really looked into it, but apparently it was like a really big. If there's like 5,500 people worked
It
there
was
at
a
one
huge-
point, it was a
yeah.
huge like economic driver for a long time,
'Cause
100 years or something.
Denver doesn't have a ton of that type of industry, but it was one of those that employed people for a long time. But yeah, for most of our lives, it's been decommissioned and then torn down.
And now
So,
a weird empty lot.
forever. I'm excited. It's something. What I thought was interesting was when we were having this conversation about women's basketball, the issue was no stadium, no practice.
Yes.
What changed in the year that made this something interesting to investors? That's what I was wondering.
I know this story.
Okay.
The Wall Street Journal's been reporting on this. What changed is the people who run these banks that give out big loans to build stadiums like this now think that women's soccer has the potential to grow and actually make a lot of money. So the NWSL has this space to take out new loans. This first started in Kansas City where they built a stadium, but they're expanding their league. And part of what they want for bids from ownership groups to take on franchises, and this is what happened in Denver, is they're saying, if you will build a stadium, we'll give you a franchise. So that's what the deal was for this new group that's led by this guy, Rob Cohen, who's a very interesting local figure, past guest
He
of
was
CityCast Denver.
Yeah, I was like, he was the Olympics guy.
He was the Olympics guy, a big booster of the Olympics. That's what he came on to talk to me about a couple years ago. But he was like, the deal was, we'll build a stadium, and then we got the team. Of course, we also, this group paid the league like $110 million or something for the franchise fee. It's a huge investment.
Well, and I listened to that podcast you sent, Paul, to me about like what it means for a team to have its own space, because previously these things have started and stopped and started and stopped for women's teams because they were just basically renting out a stadium, and in that case you don't make any money because you don't have like the naming right. You can't sell the naming rights to the stadium. You're just basically a renter. So this really makes it a more viable product that can continue, because previously when these teams were renting, it was like year by year, they were just eking by they were like changing in porta potties to get ready for the games and stuff.
Really? Ugh.
And I was just like, oh man,
It's bleak.
women, what women go through. But it's cool to see that they're actually getting their own dedicated stadium for this team, for these players in the middle. We've got another one right in the middle of the city, which I think Denver has done a great job with.
Heck of a lot nicer than playing at Dick's Sporting Goods.
Oh my God.
With the Rapids.
To drive all the way out to Commerce City.
I mean, some people like that, I think.
Well, but it also kind of reminds me of the First Bank Center where they built that fake neighborhood all around it. And we're like, oh, this is going to turn into something amazing because they were going to have hockey games there or something. I can't remember.
There was supposed to be a minor league hockey team and then that never happened.
And it never happened and it didn't work. So,
I mean, honestly, this whole thing could fall apart. That maybe we just acknowledge that also.
Yeah, for sure.
Like these are plans years out. Look at the economy right now.
I mean, that was my thought was like, wow,
uncertainty.
What, this is the time to be doing this?
Yeah. But it speaks to how confident they are in the investment, I guess.
I just think location is better in this case than something like First Bank or Dick's.
Oh, it's a killer location.
That
Let
might
me
help
read the quote from Rob Cohen about the location because he had some nice things to say about this.
I mean, look at Coors Field.
He said, I know, right?
Coors Field does great, whether the Rockies do great or not.
And the Broncos, we know, are trying to build the same kind of entertainment complex thing around it. So here's what Rob Cohen said. He said, this is a design that should benefit the community, where you can ride your bike around Washington Park and then transfer over to the South Platte Bike Trail without having to navigate across I-25, Santa Fe, and Broadway in the way you'd cross them today. It would be a more pedestrian, bike-friendly approach.
That's cool.
I
just hope that pedestrian bike friendly approach is at street level and we don't do more of this like pedestrian bridge baloney.
Yeah, they are
planning
that for the ball arena lot is the bridge over the creek.
And let me just tell, they put elevators in there for folks, to make it accessible, and then the elevators break down. I'm like, just make it at street level, please. So that's my hope. But it would be really cool. That neighborhood would benefit, I think. I mean, we could talk about traffic, but that's another.
We could talk about traffic.
Story for another day. That interchange already sucks.
Yeah, I know, and they're working on it right now. I don't know what they're doing, but it's crazy right there.
It already sucks.
Yeah, it's rough. I actually we got an email about this from a reader named Peds Project, who was concerned about this too earlier this week. So I checked in with the Department of Transportation Infrastructure about how the interchange might be changing or responding to the news of potentially all this, new demand. And the spokesperson told me it's basically going to be done. The construction they're doing right now will be done before the stadium is built. Okay. But their whole idea is to have this popular RTD transit station easier and safer for everyone. And then the safety and travel improvements they've made include replacing the previous at-grade southbound ramp on I-25 from Broadway with an elevated ramp to ease vehicle congestion. And then other work will improve access to the I-25 and Broadway station. And so I don't know. That's definitely. I wonder
what that means for that little neighborhood right there, though, that was already fighting that expansion project. I wonder if they're going to get. See that getting messy for them.
I mean, every direction around this. Like, think about South Broadway.
Well, I want to put a link in the show notes to that Denverite piece where they talk to the neighbors in the specific neighborhood, because that was really helpful for me to understand what it's like to live right at the interchange of I-25 and Broadway. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But there is a lot of dead space over there. Also, I wonder how this will connect with the design district remodel plans too.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Good point.
It's a lot. It's like it's what we call a catalytic project in the urban planning world, where we'll build this magical thing and then everything that emanates out of it will be economically viable. Is the dream.
Here's another reader comment I think we should talk about. This is from Jay Marsh, who just says about the stadium plans, I love it. I just hope they build out the entertainment district to fit a higher number of smaller businesses and restaurants instead of staking it on a few bigger businesses and restaurants. I want to see more density, more variety, and more possibility of small local businesses affording rent instead of just a few big chains.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that side of Broadway, as you go more south, there's a bunch of really cool businesses and restaurants and and really cool bars over there on that side. They, I think, don't get a lot of foot traffic, but that should increase. Hopefully, more people are walking around. I think it totally would,
especially if we're going to reconfigure some of that streetscape to make it more pedestrian friendly. So you could walk down Antique Row or and or go to Maria Empanada or Corvus Coffee and come back. I'm just thinking of the business, like you said, the businesses that are right over there already. Capital T, Terra Apothecary. There's so much good stuff over there.
Joy Hill.
Yeah, there's the new Fascinations over there. It's it would be cool to have all that more connected pedestrian wise.
Have you all ever tried that donut place that's there, baked in Denver?
But I see it
It's
all
in the
time.
old Winchell's, right?
Yeah.
It's right by GB's Fish and Chips. No, I've never been there.
Someone was like, "That's the best donut," and I was like,
We
gotta
really
try
got to
it.
revisit our donut situation.
Coming soon. Any other thoughts on the stadium? Brand new stadium. I mean, climate impact. It's a lot of construction.
I mean, just
That's
that
a
and money.
fact of life. The money. The money's all private. Denver had an article today that said the city is going to be paying for some infrastructure stuff, but the money to actually build the stadium's all private. So that's cool.
Yeah, we don't have to pay for it.
Taxpayers,
which is
not
nice.
involved. The thing about Rob Cohen, I listened back to my interview with him about the Olympics. I thought this was kind of interesting. Was the fact that he's now building a stadium for women's soccer when his whole pitch for the Olympics was, we don't have to build new venues. We are going to share the hosting of the Olympics with Salt Lake City, Lake Placid, etc. So we, quote, wouldn't require us to build venues that maybe they already have.
But maybe we're building a venue now that will make us viable for the 2050.
I'm sure he's thinking about it. He is an
Please.
obsessive. I am sure he's thinking about it.
This is his way to get to the Olympics.
Oh my God. Wait, now it's going to I'm not a
Honestly,
fan of the Olympics coming.
I know, same.
Great
But-
conspiracy theory. I love that, actually, because this is the kind of, I don't know, 14,500. It's going to be a nice stadium.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
It's a lot of,
I always find myself in the middle, torn by these issues.
I know.
The Olympics is a
love-
tough one.
Some fandom. I like cheering on my local sports teams, but no Olympics.
Okay, one last thing on this: the women's sports, the women's soccer team itself. They don't have a name yet. I heard a great name. I want to know what you all think about this.
Okay.
This is from a friend of the show from the Denver Gazette, Dan Boniface. He had a pitch. He's a huge Rapids fan. He's in the mosh area where they shoot off the smoke and stuff. Sorry,
cool.
that's all the wrong words for this. I don't know this world.
I don't either. I was like,
The
I don't know what you're
soccer
talking
mosh
about.
pit.
Sounds-
He's a big soccer
Sounds
guy.
right.
And he was like, here's like a classy, timeless name that would fit with the league. The Denver 1858 SC.
Sorry?
Denver 1858.
What is that?
That's the year the city was founded.
Oh, right.
Soccer club?
Yeah, soccer
Okay.
club.
I don't know. I feel like you just want to go with 5280. I mean, we already kind of got that on lock.
You think that's our number?
I mean, if we're going to go with a number.
Just
Yeah.
the 5280.
Yeah.
If you
Maybe not
tell
the.
me what's a Denver number, like 5280.
Yeah.
I kind of liked it though. It's like, oh, that's so distinctive. And like, I don't know. I thought it was interesting. I just hadn't thought about that before. And like, I'm proud of the history. I like that.
Yeah.
It sounds like we're older than I normally think about Denver. There's tradition here.
Yeah.
Better than the 14ers?
I feel like it's going to be the 14ers.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
What can you do with that visually? Just a mountain?
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe they do something with the rubber plant.
That would be
The
pretty.
the wheelers, the Denver cars,
The Denver
the Denver traffic.
Steers.
We love our traffic.
We do. We are the traffic.
All right, let's go to one more break. But we want to hear from you about the new stadium. What do you think? We'll post pictures of the renderings. If you haven't seen them already, check them out. The neighborhood, building a new stadium, the climate impacts, the music venue. Will it compete too much with Levitt Pavilion? That's what friend of the show Ian Tafoya was telling me earlier this week.
I think it'll depend on the capacity of it.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to book smaller. In the renderings, they have this outdoor area that is not in the stadium that they're talking about programming. So I could see the concern from Levitt for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also separated by like Santa Fe. So you still have what I find generally at Levitt is it's a lot of neighborhood folks. So
Yeah, it's
I
a
think
different
it'll be all
environment.
right.
And they've kind of got their thing going, like their programming set every year.
I mean, they built Mission Ballroom to compete with like the Fillmore. Everybody's doing fine, you know?
Yeah. Well, neighbors, especially if you live in that area, let us know what you think.
Anybody
I wanna
excited
know.
for a new giant
How do you
construction
feel?
project?
We love it. But how do you feel?
Call in 720-500-5418. Again, the number is 720-500-5418. Text, voicemails, anything you want to know or anything you want to hear, say. We want to
Tell
hear
us anything you want to tell us.
it. One more break and then wins and fails.
I can say to my new Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, hey, find a keto-friendly restaurant nearby and text it to Beth and Steve. And it does, without me lifting a finger. So I can get in more squats anywhere I can. 1, 2, 3.
Will that be cash or credit?
Credit. 4.
Galaxy S25 Ultra, the AI companion that does the heavy lifting so you can do you. Get yours at Samsung.com. Compatible with select apps. Requires Google Gemini account. Results may vary based on input. Check responses for accuracy.
Are you still quoting 30-year-old movies? Have you said cool beans in the past 90 days? Do you think Discover isn't widely accepted? If this sounds like you, you're stuck in the past. Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. And every time you make a purchase with your card, you automatically earn cash back. Welcome to the now. It pays to Discover. Learn more at discover.com/credit card, based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
All right, we're back. Best way to end the week, my favorite part of the show, wins and fails, aka Rocky Mountain highs and lows. Each of us brought a recent local something we think is a win, another we think is a fail, and we're going to talk about them. Who wants to start with a fail? Bree? I'm putting you on the hot seat.
Sure. So we've talked about these license plates on the show before.
Yes.
I guess they're called retro plates. They're the black plates,
Uh-huh.
which I think are basic,
Uh-huh.
but
And I think are cool.
You think they're cool. This is just the epitome of our relationship, Paul.
Uh-huh.
But they raise money for organizations that support folks with disabilities, which made me change my mind to be like, oh, these are cool. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
However, they've been so successful at selling these plates that the state is looking at taking the money and putting it elsewhere. So yet again, folks with disabilities are just getting the big middle finger.
Mm-hmm.
And I just... what did it bring? It brings in $1 million a month at this point.
Wow.
And this has
People
helped
love these
establish
plates.
an office that helps push out this money to different disability organizations. I am just like, I understand we have this massive budget shortfall, but do we have to go after people with disabilities again? They already get so little. Like they're already just asking for the bare freaking minimum. And we're going to cut into this thing that provides services for folks with disabilities. I was like, you sent me this article, Paul, and I wanted to like kill someone.
I
I'm
thought
so
you might
mad.
like it. I thought you might like it, yeah.
I'm disappointed. Can we not? We are an epicenter. We were an epicenter for the disability rights movement. We were the first place in the country to have an independent living home for folks with disabilities. We have built on the work of the Gang of 19 and all of these folks. Let's continue doing that by allowing the community to have this money that they figured out how to raise for themselves, and not put it into. I understand the budget shortfall. Can we not just go after people with disabilities for once? That's my fail. I hope there are legislators that are going to come forward and support folks with disabilities in this.
Yeah, so the person leading this was Representative Shannon Byrd. I know she's rumored to be a candidate for the CD8, the Democratic nomination, to be running against Manny Rutinel, who's already declared. So she represents somewhere up north. I guess we'll see. I thought this was a bold move. I mean, you don't want to be the person.
You want to go after the most vulnerable people in society? Cool.
Yeah.
Right. Meanwhile, Doe just cutting all the federal funding coming down for people with disabilities.
Medicaid is
You know,
oh my, they've already
needs
been
money.
through this fight so much.
I mean,
The Medicaid-
unfortunately, that's the bigger story. Is like there's a $1.2 billion budget shortfall in Colorado this year, and probably a lot of things need to be cut. This is a rough one.
Yeah.
I mean,
Can we find somewhere else to start, please?
What
Well-
about the pot money?
What about, where is that?
I don't know if it's that much money. I mean, that
There is no more pot money. It's
Yeah.
all
yeah,
gone.
no one's smoking weed anymore.
No.
We're all eating it.
Okay. Justine, do you have a fail?
My fail of the week was FEMA sent a letter to FEMA officials here in Denver that they're threatening to withhold millions of dollars in grant funding from Denver over accusations that the city misused FEMA money to shelter, to temporarily shelter immigrants when we had the mass influx here 2 years ago. It's been a while. But, you know, this is just really scary right now. It's a punishment from the federal government for the way that we use these funds. But we are, you know, in the first days of spring, and fire season is quickly approaching. And it's just very scary to think that we won't have funding right now. And Denver has 30 days to address this with FEMA and answer their concerns. So we're kind of in limbo when it comes to that money and fire season this year. So kind of scary.
Gracious.
Yeah, I talked to Councilwoman Parody earlier this week about this as well, and she told me, I think, a few interesting things. It was an interesting episode. I hope people go back and hear it if they missed it. But she said like they wouldn't be able to take all of it. Like I think some of it's already been spent or something. Like it's in reimbursements. There's something about that. But then the other thing was I asked her like, is this enough? They're clearly trying to pressure Denver into changing our policies by taking away this money. And I was like, is this enough? Like, are there conversations about this? And she was like, no, not right now. So this seemed to her like a big chunk. Like there wouldn't be that much more leverage beyond this. And this didn't seem like enough. So for folks who are fans of the way that the city is handling immigration, I think that would be good news. But yeah, I mean,
yeah. Paul, what about you?
I got such a good one. This story has been my win and my fail alternatingly many times over the past couple of years, but it is about that development project in Glendale, the 4 Mile Entertainment District.
The Glendale 180 or whatever they called it at some point.
Yes, that they've been trying to build since the 90s. It's that
the
land.
Boat along the Cherry Creek, the drinking boat.
Exactly. They want to make an adult-oriented, like the only committed tenant right now in this to be built complex is the Alamo Drafthouse, which I'm really excited about because I would love to be going there a lot, and that's my part of town. But it's a fail this week because the developer who's supposed to be building it is now suing the city of Glendale over some tiny bit of the contract. They're not delivering on who can buy a stake in the land.
It's never going to get built, Paul.
That's kind of what I was feeling when I was reading this. Like, do we not actually want to just build it already? Or like,
it's had so many fights like this. I remember when they had one with the family that owns the rug store.
The rug store. Yep. I remember.
They were trying. They presented plans very similar, and the city was like, "Nope, you can't do that." And they were like, "Okay," because we want to do it ourselves.
I kind of suspect this is just another chapter of like stop start. The developer says they're still going to work on the infrastructure changes. They're like construction is happening, but yeah, it doesn't feel good.
Infrastructure changes around.
Like they're building
Virginia?
out sewage and like water stuff and like I don't know.
It's just such a weird area. It's like there's a bunch of dead businesses there, and then there's a hotel, and then there's like a park kind of.
That's Glendale, baby.
It is Glendale.
Park.
Yeah.
Kooky Glendale.
Yeah, kooky old Glendale. 3-2 bar. Oh wait, they don't have 3-2 bars anymore. That was in the 70s.
They got bars that stay open late.
And they have, I think their dispensaries are open later too.
And you can get all the flavored tobacco you can dream of in Glendale.
This is true. And you could buy a bong at Freaky's, as I went with my sister to do recently.
Such an interesting place. And then the Alamo piece of this is weird now too, because they've had this labor fight recently.
I was just
that's got me
thinking
feeling differently. We got to acknowledge that because I know people are thinking about it.
I listened to another podcast that of course they're in LA, but they were talking about the effects of the strikes there at their Alamo. They were asking people to buy food elsewhere and bring it into the theater because there was no one there to work the restaurant part of the Alamo.
I do that at the regular theater.
That's the Justine way.
I brought sushi into the last movie.
You use
do you have like a
in
multi-tiered
there?
purse? How do you do? What kind of bag situation?
I just threw my coat over my arm and carried my whole sushi bag.
I feel like sushi is a great movie snack. Actually,
It is.
It's pretty clean. Like as long as you're not doing soy sauce.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know if it's clean, but
if you're just
clean
grabbing the
pack
roll,
it over all the top of them.
Nothing beats a burrito.
Burrito's good.
I took tamales to Wicked.
Yeah, so Alamo, I keep emailing them to confirm that they're still doing this, and they keep not responding to me. But that's not my fail. My fail is the lawsuit. And now let's talk about wins. I think I want to start, actually.
Go for it, Paul.
I've been talking to bike people lately. I went on a bike ride on Sunday with some
I've seen those on your calendar a lot.
Oh, yeah. I'm back into bikes. Well, I've been missing my bike because I haven't been living in my house because longtime listeners know about my ongoing luxury home renovation / mold removal.
Yes.
Yeah. But I've been missing
But you've
my
been
bike.
back in your community with your bike people.
My friggin' bike people. Yeah. And the bike people are working on something cool.
Oh.
The bike people are throwing a big event in April called Denver Bike Fest.
Oh, yeah.
Where they're getting all of the different bike advocacy groups and like community ride groups together. And they're going to do it in City Park at the Pavilion. And it sounds like it's going to be a big party for everyone who like rides a bike in Denver and wants to meet people and hang out.
I'm actually surprised this hasn't happened yet. So good for them. It just seems like such an active community here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But
I'm getting my bike ready currently, so I'm
actually-
excited for bike season.
I was just thinking about this too. But I don't know where to take my bike. I don't know if Yop's open anymore. That's where I used to take my bike to get it tuned up. Where do you go? I used to go to Salvage Eddy and then I went to Yop.
Salvage Eddy, and now I'm just doing it myself because
Yeah.
economy. Sorry,
Yeah.
Salvage Eddy.
Yeah.
Sorry, bike shops.
Got to spend our money on Botox.
Yeah, but I will go buy my supplies from you.
I don't have enough
I had
money
a
for
guy
Botox
during the
right now.
pandemic. I would call him and he would come to my house.
Wow.
Yeah, it was affordable. It was good prices too. I wonder if he's still doing it.
Yeah, send it my way. I need new tires.
Yeah,
I need to change the tire.
Mine's
I'll
just
do
been
that.
sitting since before I had my child. So he's almost 4. So that's how long it's been since I rode a bike.
He's almost 4. Wow.
I know. Isn't that crazy? 4 going on 14.
Do you have a win, Brie?
I do. Finally, they started working on building the Westwood Rec Center.
Oh,
I have
from the
been-
last bond.
Yes, from the last bond. They knocked down the old laundromat that was on Morrison Road a couple years ago, and then it just sat empty. And which I understand, permitting, getting all of the plans together. It's been in progress, but it finally, at least I noticed this week, it may have started last week when I was gone. They started there was active construction happening today. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so excited. We're going to have a brand new, because the Barnum Rec Center, it's cute, but it's not much. And it has a great outdoor pool. I will say that. But I think this is going to have an indoor pool. And I'm just excited to have a new rec center that's 3 minutes from my house.
Do you know the completion date or the estimated date?
I don't. I should look. It's probably 2028 or something. I think it's in the next couple of years, but it had just been in that limbo for a long time. And I drive by it every week to take my son to school. And today we were like, oh my God, active construction. So
That's cool.
I'm stoked.
I love that.
Yeah.
The countdown begins.
We just got a new library over there. I mean, Westwood has so much great stuff going on. I mean, also along the Morrison Road corridor, I got to shout out Jose Esparza and Eric at Kitchen Network, all those guys doing Revision and the Cultura Chocolate folks. They do so much cool stuff, and this is just going to be another thing happening on Morrison Road, and I'm super stoked for Westwood and our neighborhood.
Very cool. All right, Justine, bring us home. What's your win?
All right. My win this week was a federal judge ruled this week that Elizabeth School District in Albert County had to return banned books that they had taken out of the library. And they were books that were banned for political reasons. And they said that they were just themes of race, sexuality, and gender identity. While the ACLU
So the good ones.
Yeah,
yes, all the good ones.
fun
good
ones,
books.
yeah.
The things that keep you reading. In December, the ACLU had filed a lawsuit saying that the district's actions had violated free speech laws and was depriving students of access from different viewpoints. Well, a judge ruled with them, and now all 19 books will be put back on the shelf, and no books are allowed to be removed while the case is proceeding. So it's not over, but we love a victory for free speech and books, and I tell the
school
kids,
librarians, I'm sure that's really exciting for them.
yeah. So a victory for that school district, or for people who want to put books back in the library and read on, children.
I love that.
I think this ties back into our fighting oligarchy conversation.
Yeah.
I'm hearing a lot of these Democrats, this is what Chuck Schumer, the minority leader, was saying, is the courts will settle these things. The courts are the
and
hope.
we're seeing that with a lot of this stuff with Trump's orders already in general.
Yeah.
But going through the courts.
We still have judges on the side of righteousness.
I do want can I give a shout out though? You said oligarch, and my husband's band has a song Oligarch Slank. It's all about the oligarchy that just came out in the last couple months. It's really good. We should go out on it.
Let's do that.
I
Let's
think we
let's
should.
hear
It's
a
by
little bit of
Barbados.
it.
It's called Oligarch Slank. It's really good.
Oligarch Slank?
Yeah, it's a word they made
Slank?
up. I think they made up that word. But the song actually has meaning.
Breaking my brain a little bit. Slank.
Slank, I like it.
All right. And the band is
Rubedo.
Rubedo.
Yeah.
Oligarch Slank by Rubedo.
There you go.
That's all for today here on CityCast Denver. Our producers this week were Olivia Jewel Love, Lizzie Goldsmith, and me, Paul Caroli. Peyton Garcia and McKenna Harford write our morning newsletter, Hey Denver. Bree Davies is our host. Our music is by Los Mocochetes, with additional mixing by Tyler Lindgren. If you haven't already, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on Instagram at CityCast Denver, and tell Rob Cohen.
I was just going to say Rob Cohen, who's already been on our show.
Then I said hi. Hi, Rob.
Hey, Rob, come back and talk to us about your soccer stadium.
You can sign up for that daily newsletter and learn more about us at denver.citycast.fm. Justine, Bree, thanks for joining me.
See ya.
Thank you.
See you next time.